All right. So what's going on, everybody? May peace and power, elevation be to all of you. This your girl Tiffany coming through live right here on Facebook, and yeah. So tonight I want to get into a very touchy subject. Okay, Carlos, I see you. I see you. I see you. I'm gonna unmute you. I see you, Carlos. Okay, so I want to get into a very touchy subject tonight. Um, so I want to bring somebody who's a fellow Chicagoan. He's from Chicago, and he can help me to understand the crisis that's going on. So before I bring him in, I want to talk about this. The topic of tonight is what is going on in Chicago. What is going on in Chicago? Because there's been stories about the Latin Kings trying. One story saying that they're trying to protect their neighborhood from looting. Okay, I understand that, but then there's another part of the story that becomes very skeptical here. And one of the things is um, they have been harassing black people in their neighborhood. So I'm trying to figure out, well, what is really taking place, and why is it that the police is working with them in this situation? Is it really about protecting the community, or is it some type of ulterior motive? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring in a good brother, Carlos. Hey, Carlos, how you doing?
Peace. How you
Carlos,
doing?
can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, how you doing, sister?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, that's an important question you just asked too. That's a very deep and it's a very deep question, and the answer is like complex. So like I don't even know where to start. I guess I could start with saying that Chicago has always been a very segregated city.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike a lot of cities I've ever been to, where like even like Miami. Well, I've never been to Miami. Let me use a better example. LA, California. You see the different races more interacting more than you would in the way Chicago geographically set up. The past of Chicago with redlining, when the African Americans from the South came up here, they tried to block
Mm-hmm.
us in. So
Mm-hmm.
with the history of Chicago being segregated like that, it kind of just, you know, it created these social clubs that eventually came to be called gangs. The neighborhoods were separated, and if you cross certain lines, those people from that neighborhood, mostly back then, it was like Polish people and different European immigrants and white Americans, and
Mm-hmm.
they formed these clubs, and
Mm-hmm.
they would protect their neighborhoods, and
Right.
when black people start moving into those neighborhoods, they would run them out, beat them up. It was mostly bats and rocks and bricks back then. But I
Mm-hmm.
say this because I don't want to go, just mumble. Um, Chicago has a historic um, history of segregation, and it's
Mm-hmm.
still like that to this day for the most part. I mean, we interact in different environments like business, school, and things like
Mm-hmm.
that, even in the jails and penitentiaries.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, neighborhood wise, everything's segregated.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, and it's also a disconnect. Just like African Americans had their problems, slavery and oppression and Jim Crow and all that gave us a lot of the issues we dealing with right now. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the same thing with those Hispanics, particularly Mexicans in Chicago. I think that they dealing with some type of mental racial issue that they have where they identify, where they see us as other. You know what I'm saying? They see us as some sort of enemy. I just don't understand it when we, you know, when we are in similar situations.
Right.
Those Mexicans have Spanish names. You know,
right.
They're not from Spain.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like some of them know that and some don't. You got woke Mexicans and you got sleep Mexicans, just like you got woke Africans and black Africans.
Right.
But you know, and then Chicago. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that, because I asked a fellow brother who, you know, we both know him. He's from Chicago as well. Do you think that that's one of the reasons why the crime is so high out there?
As you talking about the
crime rates up there in Chicago as of right now, do you think that's one of the reasons, the racial tensions between Mexican and black people? Do you think that could be the reason?
Nope. That's not it. That's a small piece of it. It's a warrior mentality here. It's a neighborhood mentality here. Because gangbang. Okay, so Chicago has one of the oldest history of organized gangbanging.
Yeah, I read up on the history. Yeah,
because gangs didn't start in Chicago. You know, the gangs was everywhere. You know what I mean? The Europeans started those social clubs. They started that.
Oh yeah.
But Chicago is such a the way where it's situated in Middle America, on the railroad systems and its history, for some reason, organized crime and organized gangs. We the first people with super gangs. I call them super gangs. Where these gangs start merging together and getting bigger and bigger and more organized and organized. So the reason that Chicago is so violent is because of the organized. Because, like I was telling you earlier, after the 70s and the 80s, they took all the leaders. The Panthers fell. All our leaders fell, was assassinated or fell. And even the leaders of the organizations, or the street organizations or so-called gangs, even after they got took away, it created a vacuum. And so all these huge gangs are now without leaders. Chicago is like number 3 as far as a cartel drug hub. So we got all these drugs. You got all these drugs, all this money. What you buy with drug money? Guns. So you got all these drugs, you got all this money, you got and no leadership. And so that's why right now Chicago is the way it is. All these gangs have fractured off. So you got people in the same gangs that's not even, it's not one. There's no unity anymore. So that's why Chicago is so violent. The history of organized crime is very deep. And we just a warrior type. We warriors anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I understand that. Well, let me share an article that I was looking at online. Real fast. Hold on. Just give me a moment.
Okay.
So let me know if you see it. Can't you see the article?
I see something. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna read the article. The article say Black Chicagoans being harassed in some Latino neighborhoods. Officials say we are in this struggle together. Little village neighbors protected businesses after people looted shops, but a few Latino men were indiscriminately targeting Black people. Little village Latino leaders are calling for unity after Black Chicagoans have been harassed and had bricks thrown at their cars in some Latino neighborhoods. On Sunday afternoon, Little Village neighbors came together to protect 25th Street businesses after people looted shops. I guess that's the attorney. Michael Rodriguez? Said as the night went on, a few Latino men became antagonists and were indiscriminately targeting Black people driving through the neighborhood. So, and also it says in a video posted to Facebook, 4 Black women and a child driving through Little Village near Kesley Avenue and Cermak Road Sunday had their car hit 3 times with a bat as men stood in the street. A car was burning in the background.
Wow.
So, yeah. What I mean, have you ever been a person from Chicago? Have you ever experienced something like this before yourself, like personally? I mean, you ain't got to go into detail, but have you ever encountered like some type of racial issue in your personal experience?
Yeah, I have. I remember. Well, so with the Latin Kings, they have always had a problem with kind of racially profiling. So Latin Kings has an enemy in the GDs are a long enemy of the Latin Kings. So if you come through a Latin King neighborhood, you could be just like going to school or going to work, and they'll start gangbanging with you just because you're black. Just because you're black,
wow,
automatically assume you a GD and start gangbanging with you, or just kind of harassing you. So they do have some. I ain't gonna say everybody, but the antagonists from the gang, they do have a history of racial profiling with their gangbang. So yeah, it's happened to me before. Yeah.
Wow, this, because I'm gonna be honest, looking at this and what we're going through right now, we're in the midst of chaos. We already deal with the COVID-19. We're already dealing with the riots, and this is going on where Black people are being targeted by those in the Latino community. It really makes me sad. I'm gonna be honest, because we have a lot of high Latino population here where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? So just to hear that it's going on in Chicago, it makes you think, well, is it going to end up spreading nationwide? Is it going to be like places in New York? Is it going to travel down south to Georgia and Florida? Like, it just puts you in that sad thought, because if it happens right there in that one little neighborhood, I mean, imagine that it spreads like a disease.
Right.
You know how like the disease spreads, it starts off in one little area, and then it eventually populate itself.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what it seemed like. I mean, do you think that that's what's going to end up happening?
I hope not. I hope it's just an isolated incident, and it's only and it just stay in Chicago. I mean, I want it to stop in Chicago too, but I hope it don't spread outside of Chicago, because I mean, well, for one, the Latin Kings are pretty much all over the country. For two, I just don't think we need to be enemies with Latino people, Mexicans. Those Latin Kings over there, they're Mexican. It's Puerto Rican Latin Kings too, and that it's not an issue with other Latinos. It seems to be with these particular Mexicans. So hopefully it stays there. Hopefully we can send some people over there. I've heard that they reaching out now. That's from what I heard. That some of them are reaching out now because they see that it's turning into something. They see that it can get serious. Well, it's already serious, but it can get worse.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, because it's already tensions going on as of right now.
Right.
And then, I mean, I get that they're trying to protect their neighborhood. I get it, because anybody want to protect their community. I get that. I understand.
Yeah, definitely.
But when you just going around targeting people, that does create more problems. And then people want to know why this group can't get along with that group over there. Because I haven't heard, this is me personally, I haven't heard anything about any African Americans going up or having somebody that's from another race, like the Latino race, come into their neighborhood and attacking them. Like, I never heard anything about it. Have you? Can't you point anything out? But I mean, because generally speaking, and I'm not saying that we're so perfect, but
Right.
generally speaking, we're very hospitable people. We open up to a lot of, anybody from any background, any ethnic group, we open doors for them. We allow them to, come in and, be in our community or whatnot, blend in with us or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just for this to happen, you would think that they're in the struggle. Let me bring Brother Amir on here, Brother Ngozi. Yeah, he wants to come on.
What's
So
happening?
I'm
How you
adding him
doing?
on here. Hey, Ngozi, how you doing?
Assalamu alaikum. Peace. What's good? What's happening?
Walaikum salam. How you doing?
It's all well, yo. Chilling, man. Same demonstration. What's going on with you, brother? Peace and love to you.
Yeah.
Peace, brother. Peace and love, bro.
Oh yeah. Hey
Yeah.
yo, the shit in Chicago is crazy because and I'm glad my brother broke it down. A lot of the Latino gangs, especially predominantly Mexicans, not Puerto Ricans, not Puerto Ricans or not other groups, but it's really like Mexicans. A lot of those cats are racist. They have racist undertones. That's just what it is. They racist people. Puerto Rico, like when you asked the question about if it was a spread, like this race thing against Puerto Ricans and Mexicans, it won't spread because Puerto Ricans and Mexicans they function differently. They're not the same as in cultural ties and the way they live. They don't function the same way. A lot of Puerto Ricans live side by side with us and got babies by us in their community. Puerto Ricans are more acceptable to their African ancestry than Mexicans. It don't even matter for Puerto Ricans, predominantly European. They're more lovable to their African heritage than what other groups are. So that's totally different compared to a Mexican. Mexicans praise Spain. Even when you look up the president of Mexico, Vicente Guerrero, who was half black, they killed him. They killed him because he was half black. He was the one that fought off the Spaniards. The Africans in Veracruz helped back Mexicans to fight the Spaniards and got their ass out of there. They didn't want him to be the president because he was half black. So look up Vicente Guerrero. Look it up. Mexicans killed Malcolm X's grandson. They didn't give a damn about his struggle. They killed him. They killed him. So their agenda is totally different than other people's. These people think like white people. Evil, racist white people. Not saying all of them, but a lot of them do. You know what I'm saying? A Puerto Rican, they might put black first because a lot of these people got black grandmothers and black cousins, even if a Puerto Rican is predominantly European. But Mexicans, they function totally different. This is a different type of Hispanic. On the streets, the Latin Kings are supposed to be cool with the Vice Lords, which I am, or the Black Stones, right? They're supposed to be cool with us. We're supposed to be people's nation. Go get caught somewhere at the wrong time. They think every black person is folks. Every black person. And they want to J down on you. That's what the Mexicans do. So I mean, it's a total different type of group of people when you're dealing with this particular group of Hispanics or so-called Latinos. Seriously.
I mean, so okay, and I want to ask you the same question that I asked Carlos. Have you dealt with that yourself personally? Like, have you encountered that type of thing?
Yeah, one of my guys, not too long ago, just rotating because we was going backwards and forward. Lost his life fucking with them. You feel me? I'm not saying who did what because we,
understand.
You know what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is fucking with them. This wasn't that long ago. This was years ago. This is what I mean. Fucking with them going back and forth. There has been bloodshed on both sides. So there's a lot of racism, especially with like where I'm from, the area that I'm from. Under the Vilac, it's a lot of them. So it's a lot of backwards and forward against us and them. Going to certain restaurants or going backwards and forward. They have a lot of are we finna catch one of them, or if we catch them in our area on bullshit, it's the same shit. So yeah,
I've seen a video clip on Instagram where one of the guys who was a Latin King, he was like, we'll know who is from this area and who's not from this area.
That motherfucker was a 2-6. He was folks. And this is the thing. I fuck with the folks. I fuck with black folks. I fuck with GDs. I fuck with BDs. But when it comes to Latin, some of the Latin folks cool depending on who they are. But no, dude was folks. That's why he also said in that video he king killer. You know what I'm saying? But he also got on some race. He also got on some race shit. Like if we catch you motherfuckers around here, we gon' click to go against such and such. He got on some race shit. So And what I don't like about that motherfucker that was talking, he was culture voting, black people accent, the way he was talking about some on bro and all that shit. How you gonna take our culture and sound like us and act like us, but on the other hand talk about getting down on us if you catch us in your neighborhood? You feel me? That's some big shit.
Then it's crazy. Like I seen a clip where there was a shootout going on or something. Like they were shooting a couple of individuals or something. I guess they happen to be those individuals happen to be.
No, what happened? So what happened is on that what happened was on that clip, they tried to fuck with the blacks. You hear what they were saying in the background. They was calling them niggers and get the fuck out of here. That's what they were saying. And the GDs started busting at they bitch asses and they started running. The blacks started shooting at their ass. That's what happened. Wow. Folks started busting at they bitch asses. But they were saying, and they also said, we don't give a fuck about your people that died. They don't give a fuck about George. They don't give a fuck about George. That's not their concern. That's what they said. That's why y'all not coming in our neighborhoods. We don't give a fuck about George. So this is what I'm saying. Wow. They don't got us. What I mean by you, I'm talking about us. When I say yours, they don't got us on their agenda. They don't give a fuck about our struggles and challenges. They for themselves. They don't give a fuck about George. Now, look, the Puerto Ricans in New York, they riding for George. A lot of them, they out there marching. A lot of the Dominicans, they riding for George. But these motherfuckers, they don't give a fuck about Mr. George. They don't give a fuck about Mr. Floyd. They don't.
And you know what? What concerns me the most is when I'm reading that they were supposed to be working in conjunction with the police.
The police, yeah.
Yeah, to get rid of the looters, quote unquote. That's what they're saying, to get rid of the looters.
But that's it. You gotta understand what goes on in Little Village. This is what goes on in Little Village.
I don't know. That's kind of skeptical to me.
No. It makes sense though. This is what goes on in Little Village. A lot of the motherfuckers is illegal, so they have a network in business market with the police, right?
Wow.
So in order for them to have a lot of sponsorship and to be able to be over there without the police fucking with them and getting them up out of here, they got to protect that community because their business ties with the so-called cartel is connected with a lot of the police shit that's going on. So that's why they got an underlying contract with each other in that area in the Little Village against the looters, aka niggers. That's what the fuck going on. It's politics.
So yeah, because I know there was like some type of ulterior motives behind it. I knew it was deeper than what it is.
It is. Yeah. The police in Little Village, not too long ago, a few years ago, they were talking about the motherfuckers is racist. If you don't look like the certain group of people that's from over there, you fuck.
Ngozi? He don't went out. I tried to go back out and come back in and Ngozi. Okay, Carlos. You back? Yeah, I don't know what happened to Ngozi done went out. So
he probably gonna pop back in. He gonna pop back in.
Okay then. Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can get him back in. Hold on.
Man, what he was saying was 100. Tell him.
Okay. Well, look like he's not coming in. But yeah, okay. What was you saying now?
Oh, I was saying what he was saying. He was getting deep into it with because Chicago is also a sanctuary city. You ever heard of that?
Explain that one.
Okay, so a sanctuary city is a city where they welcome illegal immigrants. Like, it's kind of a touchy subject, but they protect. You know, when Donald Trump got in office and he was booting people out, sending people back wherever, but Chicago being a blue state, a democratic state, and with the history of it, it's a sanctuary. It's called a sanctuary city. So they kind of protect illegal immigrants. So that's kind of going into a lot of the stuff Ngozi was talking about with the deal with the police and the deal with with that friendship, I guess, that they have. You know, I can't go deep into it like he was gonna go into it, but that this is a sanctuary city, and they do protect, you know, illegal immigrants. There's some type of connection there with why they was out there with the police, and because the whole George Floyd thing was about police brutality. So why would even if, like, you know, they say black people wasn't protecting their neighborhood. Even if we wouldn't have been out there with the police. We would have been out there protecting our neighborhood. And some people was. You know what I'm saying? Some people was. But, you know what I'm saying? If they would have put the spotlight on us and we was out there protecting the neighborhood, we wouldn't have been hand in hand, arm in arm with the police. We wouldn't have been doing it with the police. We would have been doing it.
Right.
I don't know why they was with the police, but maybe it got something to do with that whole thing. Sanctuary cities and backdoor deals with police and cartels. It's deep. It's deep.
Wow, that's mind blowing right there. I mean, just knowing the history behind it and how, I mean, that's just very deep. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can see the look on the mayor's face right now. Like, she look like she's just really stressed out. Like, she don't know what to do at the point. Like, she like, okay, I don't know what to do. Like, she just about to give up or something.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Dang. So basically, to sum it all up, it's just like certain areas that you basically can't go to up there. It's basically what you're saying.
Right. It's segregated. If you get caught over there, you might not make it back. You might not make it back.
Wow. Now, earlier I was asking you, and you said you didn't know. Now, it was said to be that one of their leaders had passed away or got killed or something.
Man, I don't want to speak on too much, but
okay, here comes goes and come back.
Come back.
Yeah. What's happening?
Okay. Yeah.
Coming back.
Okay, so Carlos was mentioning that Chicago was once known as a sanctuary city.
It was very
okay.
It was. Our city, like the brother was breaking down. We are the middle of the United States of America. This was a cattle grounds at one time when you study Illinois, all the way to Chicago before DuSable. Well, a little bit after before DuSable discovered it, but it is a sanctuary city. Organized crime. We organized crimes here better. I mean, Al Capone wasn't shit when he was in New York City. He became great when he came to Chicago. Let's do the history. Let's do the knowledge. So this is where you find organized structure. Every organization in Chicago, I don't care if it's Black Disciple, Gangster Disciple, Vice Lords, Black Peace Stones, Latin folks, whatever. There we have chain of command, we have literature, we have bylaws, we have certain methods that we follow in order to even demonstrate with us. You feel me? So it's very structured in our approach of how we do things. Now the new generation is a little bit bewildering, but even with them, with the cliques and different things that they got, it's a certain line of procedures that they follow and the shit that they go by as well, even if they don't know a lot of the literature that we know in our generation, because me and Brother Carlos represent the middle in between the old generation and the new generation. So we in between both worlds. But the later generation, they have a certain methodology and blueprint that they go under in their own little way. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we have a way of doing things here. We do.
Okay. Wow. Dang, that's just deep. I mean,
but at this point, and I don't want to cut your wisdom, Queen. I think that blacks, I don't care who they are, especially in Chicago, and I'm not saying I'm anti-Mexican because a lot of them aren't on that, but a lot of them are, because you know, you was talking about how they was throwing bricks at cars. They've been doing that. Like, especially like after you get out the county on 26 in California, if you get caught in the wrong area, they fucking you up. They've been attacking cars and shit in the wrong area because they're racist. This is racism. Wow. And now they got the opportunity to act out on their racism.
Wow. I mean, you know, it's just so deep because, you know, you would think like these brothers and sisters that, you know, that you share the common struggle with them. You know what I'm saying? You share a lot, you know, in common. And just to have to go through this with the people that live in your neighborhood, especially who's also considered as minorities.
They have a code that they go by, La Raza, which is the race. They think as a minority when it comes to surviving, but they want to stand on you to get you out the way. They also believe in growing in numbers. And as they grow in numbers, they take over communities. You start to see 1, 2, 3. Like if you go back to Georgia 40 years ago, it wasn't a lot of them out there like it is now. They accumulate and they grow in numbers. And once they start growing in numbers, they start to organize. And after they organize, they start to like they start to grow over you, like in the sense of they undermine you. They don't see themselves as a minority. They play games in that minority role because they're that in the United States. But as they grow in numbers, they try to equate with Euros. That's why when a lot of them become successful, they don't even want to be in a hood with a lot of us anymore. They go into so-called white communities. And that's why when you start going up north, Broadway, Wicker Park, and certain parts of the north side of Chicago, you starting to see a lot of Mexican immigrants. I mean, not immigrants, but Mexicans in the community with white people. And then they start to have so-called, white friends, and they say the word nigger with white boys. This is why Tekashi 9 is able to say nigga, and ain't nobody G-check that little bit yet.
Oh, please don't get me started on him.
But look though, let me tell you, a lot of these so-called cool white boys that try to act like they're black, they're getting the culture from their so-called Mexican friends because they say the word nigga to each other. The Mexican don't check him and say, stop saying nigga. They say this as a word of some type of, it's not what it represents to us. It's to be cool. It's to identify with the so-called mentality of the so-called African-American, like to act slightly culturally black, but not be black. It's bullshit. It's a disrespect on all angles, yo. And when people start to see it for what it really is, these people ain't your fucking friend. They're not a minority. The only motherfucker that's an alien to the United States is African-Americans. I'll give you a reason why. The Spaniards was here before the British came, which is some of our ancestors, the British. But the Spaniards was here before that. They colonized Latin America and South America before that. And the people that makes up the other half of the Mexicans are the natives. They was here for 24,000 years. The only people that's completely foreign here, and even when you study the European population, is the African. You ain't got no friends like Dr. Clark said, yo. Seriously. Yeah. And a lot of these people subconsciously know that shit. They don't fuck with you. They'll play that minority role because they're in the same situation as you, but you best believe subconsciously and subjectively, they're trying to climb their way out. You know what I'm saying? To demise you on purpose.
Right. And then here's the thing, a lot of people don't understand that America itself don't love you like you think. America don't love you. America just love what you can do.
That's it. They've been using, that's all they do. They love us for what we can do and our talent, but they don't give a fuck about us. People use us. And that's and I'm honestly happy to see a lot of the Africans. Like, to be honest with you, what communities do we really have? We don't own shit in our community. The shit that they talking about, how we burning shit down on certain parts of Chicago, certain parts all over the world. They didn't own a lot of that shit. We depend on that shit, but it's not ours to own. We just depend on it. These companies got insurances, and they're gonna use their insurance to rebuild it and do certain things. We don't got no fucking community. So what I will say about the other group, like the Mexicans, they come together and start to invest in their community. A lot of the cartels back their communities to own like certain parts of the park districts and certain clubs that they got and certain things that they got in their area. We don't own anything in our community. That's why we act the way we act, like we don't give a fuck, because ultimately we know we don't own shit. We depend on other people's investments in our community to depend on it to keep our shit alive. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow, right. And, that's one of the reasons why we fight so hard for reparation here in this country, just so we can be able to have some resources and so we can be able to start owning things in our community again like we did before.
Well, I think that you, sister, is in the most blessed place in the United States, the South. A lot of black people down south are doing good. In Georgia, Carolina, a lot of parts of the South, Mississippi, blacks are doing damn good because you have a lot of black entrepreneurs down south compared to us that's living in the North. In Chicago, we got them up here, but it's not like the way we got it down south. The South is our buffer zone.
Right. I mean, yeah, a lot of people migrate to the South because they see more opportunity out here. especially a place like Georgia, you know, it's a lot of opportunity as far as real estate is concerned, music industry. It's just so much. You know, you can get into business out here. So you will see that if you know, it's like if you ever come to Georgia, you will see there's a lot of New Yorkers that stay out here. And Gozy? Gozy? Ooh. Okay, he don't went out on me again. Oh boy. All right. So Carlos, what's up?
Hello. Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Everything he was saying was on point.
Right.
Everything the brother was saying on point. A lot of that, you know, tearing up the neighborhood and stuff was because we don't own it. We see like Arabs and, you know, Chinese, Asians and stuff in our neighborhoods owning stuff. So when the riots started, it was nothing to really just burn that stuff up and loot it, because we know we don't own it. You know, we give our money to, the money don't circulate in the Black community like it does in other communities. As soon as we get paid our money leave. I mean, you walk to the store and give your money to an Arab businessman or a Chinese businessman or something like that. So, you know, that was part of it too. You know, that's part of our struggle. Struggle too. We don't own anything. We're not able to pass down anything to the next generation because we don't own it. I'm gonna pass down my little grocery store. You know what I'm saying? That man gonna pass it down to his son. You know, that Asian man or that Arab man or whatever. So.
Right. I mean,
problems.
Right, it is, you know, and we are in a serious disposition, not just as far as socially, but, you know, like you said, economically and politically. I mean, even though you got a mayor that's Black, you know, in both cities, where I'm at and where you at, we both got mayors, but it seems like at the end of the day, they don't really hold enough power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it seems like somebody else is running it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, we at a losing situation. It's like we'll never climb ourselves out the bottom to get back up to the top. That's what it seems like.
That's crazy.
And Gozy, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. And Gozy?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm right here, sister. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you want to finish up what you were saying?
No, I was just saying, like, a lot of our Nubians back south, where you at in Georgia and Carolina and different parts of Mississippi, you know, it's a lot of Black entrepreneurs there. I honestly think that our people just tired. And a lot of us have given up. I mean, even with the looting, I mean, it's the opportunity to do what the fuck you want to do. Because a lot of us don't give a fuck. Like, our young generation got the heart, but the mind ain't there. And they need organization and structure, which they lack. Even if they do have a certain method that I was bringing up earlier of how they do things in their own little way, they have to have an organized pattern of doing things. So what I'm saying is that, you know, we laid the message down. We laid down the foundation. We showed the world that we ain't going. You know, and other people that supported us as well. Now, what's the plan? Right. Now, what is the plan? You know what I'm saying? Like you showed the heart. You showed you ain't going. I mean, you had the youth beating up police, taking police cars. Like, we showed we wasn't fucking playing. But what is the mission afterwards? That's the thing. What mission do we have? And I'm just tired of Africans in America with this individualistic mindset and not grouping one another up together collectively to build what we need to build. You get what I'm saying? Like now we got to come up with a conclusion, and we have to have a solution to what's going on, because the system trying to do all types of shit, as we can see. The brother brought up, you guys brought up coronavirus earlier. That hit us majorly. 2020 just came with a big ass bang. So you got the coronavirus. You got brothers and sisters still being murdered by the police. Mr. Floyd was the last call to show like rage after this. Then after this, they're trying to lead Blacks into some type of confrontation with these certain Latino groups. I said certain, not all, but certain groups. Look at the population of the amount of group population for us and so-called Mexicans. Now, I'm not going to label all Latinos collectively. I'm going to label the so-called Mexican population. Mexicans as a whole make up 11.5 to 12.2% of the United States of America. Blacks make up 14% of the population. So they right behind us. So what would be the best fight or competition to stand out mostly, to annihilate these people, to help erase some of these people? I'm not saying it's a conspiracy on that, but it seems like that's the direction that it's going in. And the best group population to have confrontation with these people backwards and forward will be them. That's the best target. Now you got some of these fuckers supporting these people. So what I'm saying is that Africans have to really see the bigger picture of what's going on. And when I say Africans, I'm talking about niggas from the Caribbean, firstborn immigrant Africans that were just born in the United States, who become citizens once they're born here, whatever. Niggas who just got their papers. You got Somalis and African Americans ride with each other in Minnesota. That was a beautiful connection. Where we have to unite globally as a people to really stand out for what's going on. Everybody ain't our fucking friend. I'm not saying I'm a lot of some people, but we gotta really accept what Dr. Clark or Barbara Clark was saying, yo, when it comes to standing for one another. We have to, yo. We don't got time. We really don't got time to say who's good and who's bad, because if some of these people catch you in their neighborhoods or catch you in the wrong area, they're not gonna say that's a good black person or a bad black person. They're gonna gun your ass down. They're gonna beat your kids up. They're going to slaughter you. So we got to have that same mentality. This is what it is.
Right. So I want to ask both y'all a question. So the question I seen the other day, where is Mr. Louis Farrakhan?
Shit, he chilling. He in a religious organization. He don't give a fuck. He'll talk about it after everything over. According to him, he think this is the rap of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking about. I mean, it's all a game, bro. It's all a game. It's a game. It's a game, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're gonna see after everything happened, he's gonna come out and talk. He ain't gonna say nothing now.
That's a fact.
The NOI is for their organization. The NOI is not for black people globally. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad showed you that when the 4 little girls got burned down. What did he tell Malcolm? He was about the nation. They were never an organization about black people as a whole. Let's not forget that.
Ooh.
Think about it.
You know, that's going to start up a little controversy.
I mean, we not here to sugarcoat. Our solution is revealed in science. We Osiris around this motherfucker. I'm just being truthful. Malcolm X was for black people as a whole. He went international with it. He took it to the UN. He was fucking with all the Africans as a pan-African. The Nation of Islam is not a pan-African or a pan-African organization. They don't give a fuck about black people as a whole. When those little girls got burned in that fire, he tried to silence Malcolm X or tried to tell him to shut up, like he couldn't do nothing if it wasn't dealing with the Nation of Islam. Think about it. Honorable Elijah Muhammad wasn't for black. He was for his organization, for what he was trying to prepare for his organization, his religious institute. He was that's a religious institute that talks. I mean, anytime you have a nation that tells you not to walk around with guns, and you got all these motherfuckers surrounded by guns, how you preparing for war? You just talking. That's a talking organization. They not about shit. They're not about a motherfucking thing. I'm just being honest with you. I'm sorry to my Mr. Shabazz and other groups of people who we all supposed to be, but Malcolm was the only real Messiah that we ever fucking had, and they got rid of him. And they were also being sponsored by the FBI in between as well. They was pawns. I say that shit publicly. I don't give a fuck, because at this point we shouldn't give a fuck.
Okay, and goes. Hold on, let me ask Carlo.
Yo.
So, Carlo, so what's your thought? Where's Minister Louis Farrakhan? Where you stand?
I think, like the brother said, like Brother Ngozi said, I think Farrakhan is a minister, and he gonna do a photo op and he gonna talk after the fact. He's not here to really stir up. He's not here with the youth out there. He's not out there with them. He in his mansion chilling.
But wait a minute, don't he stay in the hood area or in?
Well, he got a few cribs. He got a few cribs. He got a few places of residence. And but what, like the brother said, he's gonna make a statement, and it's gonna be tied to the theology of the NOI. It's not gonna be applicable to Africans worldwide. It's gonna be within the bounds of the theology of the Nation of Islam. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the Nation of Islam. I got family members in the Nation of Islam.
Right.
But what the brother said is right and exact. He's going to make a statement, and and it is what it is. That the NOI's job is to move them forward as a nation. If I'm not in the NOI, I'm not in the objectives, in my opinion, because I'm not a registered member. I'm not a registered Muslim in the Nation of Islam, so I'm not in that. I'm not a part of that organization. So they have their own agenda. They take care of their own. They really do.
Well, you know what? This is from me being around those who were in the nation or are in the nation. There are those individuals in the nation that actually, do the work in the community for the people. And they're willing to work with other organizations out there. You know what I'm saying? They're not just working amongst themselves. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, go ahead, I'm sorry.
But you asked where Louis Farrakhan is at.
Yeah.
We just told you where he was at. He at the crib.
Right. Of course you're gonna have a few brothers, or in the Nation of Islam that's gonna want to do outside of NOI business. But again, that's not NOI business. These people choose to do that. They choose to go outside of NOI borders. They choose to put up. They choose to rock a red, black, and green flag on their cars or have it in their house. That's not NOI tenants. That's not what they're supposed to do. So you have even got Moorish Americans who go outside of the Moorish Science Temple and add on to what's going on in a black community. You got Moorish Americans who black outside of the temple and would tell you that they black outside of the temple, but in the MSTA they say, "Oh, I'm not black, I'm Asiatic." They follow that blueprint in a religious institute that they in at the moment. So you have individuals that go outside of the norm of their religious theology, just like you have black Christians who go outside of Christianity and help black people as a whole. Or, it's just those are real people. That's what Marcus Garvey was about. It's not about religion. Religion comes later. It's race first. So that's what it's supposed to be. So you're gonna have people that leak out of those little institutes and do things outside of the norm of what the institute tell them to. But the standard of the Nation of Islam is not for global blackness or global black supremacy. It's not.
Wow. That's deep. That's real deep right there. I mean, both of y'all said something very deep tonight, and I'm glad that I was able to have the discussion with you guys. I mean, because I can always speak from my own opinion, what I'm saying, how I feel about this and how I feel about that. But I'm glad that you guys, by you guys being in the city where you at and being where the chaos is taking place. I mean, the chaos is going on all over the world, but just right there where this incident and all these, the whole confrontation going on, like, I'm learning and I'm getting a better understanding. And you guys did well. You guys explained it. Y'all really hit the nail on the coffin with this one. Like, I really appreciate that, because as I said before, I can always speak from my emotion. I can always speak on as far as, from just, just a state of feeling, you know what I mean? Because to be honest with you, when I read about this and I saw the video earlier, I was just like really torn. I was like, dang, like, wow. Like, is that how they really feel? Like, why are they doing that? Like, we gotta ask our Messiah grandson who was killed out there, is that how they really felt? They didn't ask Malcolm X's grandson, was he Malcolm X's grandson? They don't give a damn about Malcolm X. They just killed that man and threw him out of the goddamn building. They didn't care about his history or his background or his struggle or the uniqueness about him in the United States. What they seen over there was an El Negro. You know what I'm saying? And they got rid of his ass. That's just what it was. And that's how they think. They don't care. They don't care about Mr. Floyd either. Some of them do, because you have genuine people who really are tired of what's been going on in this system. You have genuine people, white, black, so-called Mexican, or whatever, that really want to stand for equality. And it's really like those normal Mexicans that understand the struggle of the United States, the older population and some of the younger population that's like surpassing all the bullshit. But you also have some that stands for their code, La Raza, you know what I'm saying, the race. And that's just what it is.
But overall, we got to ask Mr. Malcolm X, his grandson who was murdered. Is that how they really feel? Yeah, that's how they feel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how they feel. We got to understand this is not, these people are not from Veracruz, Mexico, where you find Afro-Mexicans. Most of these people are from the larger group population of Mexicans that come here. That's either mestizos, predominantly Native American and Spanish European, or some of them are completely Mediterranean, Spanish European with little native. These are not Mexicans from Veracruz who represent Black Power, or they're not representing, the brother Guerrero that I spoke up earlier. Look up Vicente Guerrero and look up his history of what he did.
Let's look him up right now. How you spell his name?
Vicente Guerrero. Just spell Vicente Guerrero. If you online right now, type him up. It's a whole article on him. Look up how he died. Vicente Guerrero, Afro-Mexican president.
Okay, I see him. Okay, the general.
Look up his history.
Okay, hold on. Pulling up right now and goes. Give me a moment.
All right.
Okay, let me try to see if I can get this up. Okay. All right, so. Oh, okay. Okay, let's go to blackpast.org since we on this subject. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see him. I can see him. There you go.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, then. Okay, him. Okay. So, yeah, Vincent Guerrero was born in the small village of Taslia in the state of Guerrero. His parents were Pedro Guerrero, an African Mexican, and Guadalupe Sandana, an Indian. Oh. And what's his name? Vincent? How you say his name again?
Vicente Guerrero.
Vicente was of Vicente Guerrero. Vicente was of humble origins. In his youth, he worked as a mule driver on his father's mule runs. His travel took him to different parts of Mexico where he heard of the ideas of independence. Through one of these trips, he met rebel General Jose Maria Molos y Pavon. In November 1810, Guerrero decided to join Morelos. Upon assassination of Morelos by the Spaniards, Guerrero became commander-in-chief. In that position, he made a deal with Spanish General Agustin de Iturbide. I'm sorry. I'm not a strong Spanish person, or a person that's good at Spanish. So
you good, sis.
Okay, so let me read down here how he passed. All right. Oh, so Guerrero finally abolished slavery on September 16, 1829. Shortly thereafter, he was betrayed by a group of reactionaries who drove him out of his house, captured, and ultimately executed him.
Guerrero's so there you go. Look at that. Stop right there. And them the motherfuckers that we dealing with. The same way they felt about Baba Vicente Guerrero, one of us. That's how they feel. That's what they are. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with, yo. That's the shit you're dealing with. That's the same shit that Malcolm X grandson had to deal with over there. That's the shit you're dealing with. They dragged him out of his crib. Because why? He abolished slavery. The people in Veracruz, Mexico love him. Veracruz Mexicans are our people. Those are Africans that were brought there.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, so do you think that's one of the reasons why we don't hear much about Africans in Mexico? Because if we go back into their history, right? We go back into their history of how they settled into Mexico. A lot of them left Florida, right? Along with the Seminoids, I believe, and migrate over to the Mexico area. I mean, what do you think it is? Ngozi? Okay. Ngozi. Dang. All right. So, okay, so once again, okay, so once again, Ngozi and Carlos, well, Ngozi went out and Carlos went out. So hopefully the brothers will come back on here. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation because I did. It was very deep. And see, this is the thing. We have to be able to get into a discussion from a scholarship and from an intellectual standpoint. I mean, even though, Ngozi, he's very, very expressive. You know what I'm saying? He expressed himself that way. So he's a very passionate person. But yeah, we have to be able to get into this type of discussion. As I mentioned earlier, to me, this is just devastating. This is something that's just totally mind-blowing and shocking to me. It seems like it's black people. It seems like it's black people. We're going against everybody. It seems like we just really like that child that's illegitimate or the black sheep. No, as a matter of fact, we are the black sheep. But you seem like it's just, to me, we're like that one race that's just standing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just by ourselves on this one. Like, okay, the people that you try to ally with or you try to connect with, it don't seem like they trying to bring that solidarity. And it's only a few of them that's doing. Hold on, let me. Right. Yeah, so it just seemed like I don't know.
Sister, we've been fighting a long time. And like Baba Clark said, we ain't got no motherfucking friends. And I think the Africans of the diaspora, us from the Caribbean, Jamaica, I don't give a fuck if you, the brothers and sisters of Panamanians, the Afro-Cubans, the Afro-Puerto Ricans on the eastern part of Puerto Rico, and even Puerto Ricans that represent their African heritage. But I'm talking about people that's obvious that you can see clear. Haitians, Trinidadians, blacks, Black Americans, all of us, man, on this diaspora need to unite. You know what I'm saying? Like Tupac said in his song, niggas unite, period. Like, we ain't got time for this fuck shit, yo. Because everywhere we go, we're being treated the same globally, period. And this shit got to stop. It's coming to a fold now. Continental Africa's getting tired of that shit that the Chinese trying to do over there. They kicking their ass out. People, we starting to wake up. Nick, it's the sleeping dragon or the sleeping giant, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is resurrecting from mental death. Seriously. I mean, and this is that people getting tired of it. And we're always being attacked based off how we look. The first thing people want to do is antagonize us off our features or attack us based off our features. They don't even want to give us a chance. You get what I'm saying? But we tired of that. We tired of that shit. The blacks in Saudi Arabia, the Zanzibar blacks who fought in Iran against slavery that was going on over there. They whooped their ass over there. Al Jahiz was talking about it. Blacks are getting tired of this shit, yo. The ship groups that's in India who are African descendants of slaves, all of it. We got to stop, yo. We got to get together and see it as a whole.
Right. See, now let me, since we're on the topic about Blacks United, okay, I know you spoke about it before, but, we just want to talk about this. So we're going to bring this into the conversation. The ADOS movement. And I mean, let me say this for a record. I agree with the concept of reparation. I agree that we're supposed to have resources and things of that nature. But when it comes to the attitudes towards other black people from the Caribbeans, from from the other part of America, like Canada, and in Africa, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't really see them as a part of us. They see them as allies. I mean, what's your thought on that?
I mean, ADOS got a lot of their mentalities from their European master. Black people in America, especially a lot of the people that try to that separatist attitude comes from racist white supremacists. They just blackfaced it. The same way that you got the blacks that try to blackenize ancient Hebrew culture and ancient Middle Eastern culture and blackenize. It's no different than when white supremacists do it. When they try to Europeanize Egypt and Europeanize Jesus and Europeanize the Middle East. And they only think, a white supremacist only thinks black and white. And a black supremacist who's exaggerated and inflated in it only thinks black and white. He has the same mentality and he's mimicking the same behavior as racist white supremacists. Us, as so-called Middle Passage Americans, I like to call us that, or Western Sudanic Congo Creole people, but I'll just say Middle Passage American for the conversation. Mm-hmm. A lot of our mentality comes from our colonizers, and we want to become separatists. We want to become separatists, the same way the white American likes to become separatist, like he's affiliated with the European Union, but America isn't part of the European Union. He wants to be a separatist. This is the type of mentality that we have. So we're picking up a lot of their characteristics that our oppressors gave us. We don't have a mind of our own. Black people don't got a mind of their own. You think English, you speak English, you talk English. You just got a sloppy way of being English. And that sloppy way of being English is urbanized. So you're Afro-Anglo in character. You know what I'm saying? Afro-Saxon, should I say. That's even better. You just do it in a sloppy way. So what I'm saying is that once we learn to take control of our mind and be able to control the narrative, we'll be able to see the difference as a whole. Yes, Africans did build America, but these Africans that built America were also fathers and mothers to people that was left on the continent. When they kidnap people, they kidnap parents, they kidnap children. Some of these children never seen their mothers again. Some of these fathers and mothers never seen their babies again. But guess what? They're still over there. So a continental African can say, if they come from the countries that we were snatched from, that their ancestors built America. If you come from Sierra Leone, if you come from Gambia, if you come from Nigeria, if you come from, all the different countries that they took us from, and all those major tribes that we were taken from, they can say that they were the people that built this shit. You can't separate yourself from them, and they can't separate themselves from you. Because if I take a German Shepherd from Germany and put him in China, does that stop the German Shepherd from being a German Shepherd? No. Even if you slightly mix it up, it's still a German Shepherd. Overall, from the base population of its basal pedigree, it's still German Shepherd. So it doesn't fucking matter. So for an African to say some stupid shit in America to say that I'm ADOS, African descendants, first of all, you're not a motherfucking American descendant of slave. That's the most stupidest shit in the world. Americo Vespucci was a fucking Italian. So I mean, you was forced to build this shit. It ain't like you did it because you wanted to. You was forced to build it, and then you accepted it, and then your next generation just said it was theirs because they had no choice because they ain't no shit else. So your mind was already stripped the fuck away. So first generation fought like hell. That's why they was beating us, killing us, and they wanted to use the rebels and warriors as examples. So they tortured them. Once they desensitized us and made us soft, then we said, fuck Africa. We don't want to have nothing to do with that. This is our home. So we chose to settle here because we had no choice because our mind was stripped away. If our mind wasn't stripped away, we'll be trying to run back to the continent and network with the brothers and sisters of the continent instead of staying here. So this is the stupidest shit in the world for you to be able to sit your ass up here and brag on some shit that you was forced to do like you did it willingly and accept the shit because you already accept your fate of racist white supremacy. You take pride in your German name and your British name and different names and you stand by it as if it's you. You've been stripped the fuck away. It's pathetic.
Well, the attitude is, we built this country, all right? And so 90% or let's say about good 99% of the stuff in America was built by Black people. And we invented a lot of things. So
by force.
For many Black people, they feel like, okay, we should get our share due. We should get our share due.
For what? For what?
We should get our reparation. We should get some land here.
Here's the thing. There is no reparation because you fought for equality. Once you fought to be an equal rights citizen, to be accepted in a corporation, to be able to move in their neighborhoods, and to be able to become people like Jay-Z, to be a billionaire in a racist corporation and other group of people, that means that you have a status, as we could say, status, I'll say status phases where you're able to maneuver amongst them without being them, but still being able to maneuver amongst them as a so-called quote-unquote citizen, yet and still you're not accepted as a citizen completely. You are a minority as a citizen. You can be able to control portions of things by point percentile at the highest degree of your group population, but never as a whole. So with that being said, because you fought and stood in line and got your ass beaten, did all types of shit to be equal with these people, why would I disperse anything out to you when the money's going to circulate and help boost the economy anyway? It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. you're an American citizen and you go about being American property, and you also have a so-called American name, and you chose that. But if we were still separate with a separate background and still did things on our own independently, and we still fought instead of being acceptable to what was given to us to be equal citizens of the so-called corporation, now everything is based off numbers and capitalism. And in capitalism, it's not about a sense of care. It's about numbers and bracket. The reason why they allow a lot of these other groups of Latinos and other foreign immigrants to come here, because why? They sell them the American dream, and when you first come here, you want to work hard. Because the people that's been here for 200 to 300 years is lazy. Second generation Mexicans is lazy. They don't work as hard as the first generation that come here because they get comfortable with with what this American corporation gives. Capitalism drains your drive and will and make you acceptable to what's being established and what's given. So for me to give you anything in a so-called established system that's based off capitalism is foolish, because you chose to play the game and be a number in this capitalistic system, which is based off currency that goes up and down any fucking way. So I'm not giving you nothing. So they play games by making you think that you have the opportunity to get something, but they will never give you shit. Never. Because you're in a race in America. You're in a race. And economically, black people is at the bottom of the goddamn line. You give out a lot of stuff. You're one of the biggest consumers, but you don't own shit at a larger scale. Why? Because they put up these barriers to make yourself believe that you can't do it. And we have that set defeatist mentality that makes us believe that we can't do it. So we don't want to even choose to invest our access or certain things within this corporation to make ourselves something more than what it is. Because we believe it's bullshit. That's why it takes us to have organization and structure. And that's why we have to network with our continental brothers and sisters from Africa and our continental African brothers and sisters from the Caribbean that live in the diaspora. Because we're all the fucking same. We are.
Okay. So now, here's the argument some people will make. Well, the Jews got their reparation from the Holocaust.
Okay.
So how is that the Jews can get the reparation from the Holocaust and not us?
Well, you're dealing with a different type of European with the Jews. They was going against Germans. The people that colonized us wasn't Germans. They was Anglos and Saxons. They were British. A few Germans came over here, but they were part of a stamp receipt that was trying to be established in the New World. The Germans in Europe and the Jews had a whole nother, they struggle was slightly different, and you're dealing with a whole nother type of European. Not to mention, Jews still aren't sub-Saharan Africans. They were still partially highly of German descent and some Semitic ancestry. So that's a whole nother type of situation compared to the British that brought. Okay, think about this. Did Spain give Latin America reparation? No. Most of the Latin American countries, Dominican Republic and Mexico, beat Spain. And you just seen that with your brother Vicente. He was one of the people that helped force the Spaniards out of there. In Dominican Republic, they beat Spain. Why? Because they couldn't control the ports being in one country and being able to control a port over here. So it was hard for them to do that. So a lot of their bastard children who was left behind, like the mestizos, they wanted their own independence. They still kept the base government structure of Spain, but they wanted to be independent on those islands. And it's hard to control a border or ports living in a country and living in islands at the same time. So Spain lost. But do you think if Mexico went to Spain, they would tell Spain to give them reparations for what happened? No. First of all, you're partially me at a high percent genetically. You still go off my Spaniard government structure, and I'm not giving you shit. So what I'm saying is we're dealing with different situations and different groups of people. That's why Jews was able to get in and you're not able to get it. You're a different type of person, and you were colonized by a different type of people compared to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But see, here's the thing though. And I get what you're coming from, because I mean you hitting the point right there. But see, what most of them look at it like this: well, if we're supposed to be citizen of the United States or whatever, right? And we're supposed to be, we all supposed to be American, whatnot. Then why is it that you giving immigrants or those who are illegal immigrants, in particularly illegal immigrants, why are they able to get the jobs that we can't really get? Why are they able to?
Why wouldn't they? As if I had a business, and I know the caliber of people that's been here for a long time, and I got these fresh immigrants where I can still lie to them and sell them the American dream, and they still got this hope and this will to be able to so-called believe that they're going to be something. Compared to a lot of the other groups who's been here, we see what this group population do accumulatively based off their fake ass statistics. Compared to this immigrant, I can sell him hope and a dream, and he's basically going to do whatever the fuck I say. But based off statistics of what other group of people say, based off what they say that's going on with a lot of other with us or whatever. We function a certain way. So what I'm saying is that if I was a businessman, and I'm thinking crookedly as a capitalist right now, if I was a businessman, I'd rather take a highly educated Nigerian who's from a third world, who's not used to nothing, who's going to appreciate everything that I fucking give him, even if I could pay him less, compared to the African American with sense that partially got somewhere in the back of his mind. It's a possibility that he partially have some revenge and content based off what the struggle was and the challenge is in America. Why wouldn't I take the fresh Bosnian or the fresh Latino who's going to work for less compared to you with sense when you know you goddamn it deserve much more than what you fuck you getting eventually? Or why wouldn't I take a lot of the women in, because a lot of our Black American women are independent, not saying all of us, but a lot of them are independent in single homes. The man ain't there, so she got to fend for her kids on her own, and women love her children. So why wouldn't I accept her before I accept the brother? And based off the statistics, a large portion of the so-called African American men are where? Overall, compared to the ones that's educated. These people are thinking capitalist. They're not thinking about emotionalism, about what it should be as American citizens. America is a corporation. It's a game.
Now, see, where you touched on about Nigerian and African American and the way you explain it, that's where the ADOS has the little.
And I get that. That's why I said, and I get that. But we have to understand what's going on. It's bigger than what they think. We are all put in this situation to think like this. We don't create these situations, Queen.
Right. And it creates like the concept of.
Let me just say this. Don't that sound like a bitch ass house nigga? You mad because Massa don't favor you over the next person? Because Massa don't favor you and the Massa favors him better than you, you getting angry and having a temper tantrum. I don't like them because they getting everything and they getting all the attention and Massa do everything for them. You're a fucking crybaby.
And that's how it is in America. See, America creates this dichotomy.
Exactly.
You know, the continental Africans and the African Americans. Right. And those in the Caribbean. So they got us believe this country got us believing that, those people are this way and they don't like us. Those people over there in Africa, they this way and they don't like us. Correct. And those people over here, they don't like neither one. So correct. And so like I had put up something about the Nigerian, and I'm glad we're on this topic. So I put out that to me, I believe that Nigerian are extremely narcissistic. And it wasn't a way to be offensive or to be disrespectful. You know, it's not saying that I dislike the Nigerian people, but it's just because of, their attitude they have and like certain things they say, that it seems like they're just pretty naive and they're like all about themselves in a sense, like arrogance.
A lot of them are. We have to understand what went on in Nigeria. Nigeria has been calling go ahead. I'll cut your wisdom. Go ahead. I'll talk about it. Well, go ahead.
Okay. So there was a brother that had posted up something, and it was pertaining to George Floyd. He was talking about ethnic group and tribes. So he said, what if George Floyd had a tribe in Africa? What tribe would he belong to? So, and me just reading this post, it's like, okay, you're forgetting the fact that he's a black man in America. And he claims to know American history. If you know American history, right, you know that we don't operate off the concept of tribe like you guys do over there in the continent. Okay, if you ask the average black person here in America what tribe do they belong to, they don't know. They don't even know what the tribe is. So how can't you use that argument to try to say that, if he was belonging in a particular tribe, to sum it all up, because he had a long post. If he belonged into a particular tribe, that it pretty much eliminates the possibility of him dealing with racism. It don't even matter if you're in the tribe or not. The fact that you're black or you're African, you can say that you're Igbo, Yoruba, or Fulani or whatever, but that's not going to stop the opposition from coming at you if they want to.
Well, he's a stupid, naive ass idiot, and he don't know no better. He's no different than a black man in America who say he's not African. They're all stupid motherfuckers. I'm just being honest. I'm just be flat out with it. We need to ask the Fulani prince that was brought over here, who was treated like shit, bad. He wasn't a prince when he stood side by side with the European.
Oh, wait, I know you're talking about Ibrahim Sode.
Yeah. It was yes. It was another Fulani brother that they brought here as well. We also need to ask the question about our brother who just lost his life, who was gunned down, who was from Gambia, who was just killed by police. And also the Ethiopian brother, and the Ethiopian brother who was killed a few years ago, who was a Habesha, who was dark skinned, who was killed a few years ago by police. See, in America, what a continent, and a lot of Somalis is starting to realize it. But in America, a lot of people don't understand that they're black until they go through shit. Like, for example, back home in Somalia and in certain parts of Kenya, the Somalis like to call the Kikuyus and other groups that's so-called Bantus and the Luaus in certain groups, they like to call them Jegra, which meant nappy head or whatever. But in America, and they also have some Somalis have workers, Bantu Somalis, which are slaves who descend from Tanzania and Uganda. In the Horn of Africa, that shit goes on. A lot of Somalians also sold Bantus to Arabs during the time when you had the Zanzibar thing that was established because they were Islamized. But in America, guess what? The Somali is treated just like any other black man. And a lot of Somalis are starting to realize that now they identify with their blackness. They identify with their blackness because they have no choice. Just like in North Africa, when they was kidnapping, when they was taking them Nigerians who was trying to go to Europe and they were trying to cross over to the Mediterranean through Libya, a few of them people were Somali. That Berber didn't ask them people, was they Somali or was they Afro-Asiatic or Niger Congo? All they seen was niggers and they was killing them. So what I'm saying is that we have to understand that these people are conditioned to think the way they think. We have to understand Nigeria was colonized for 276 years.
Right.
Even after slavery, when they was kidnapping people from Nigeria, they were still colonized. These niggas just stopped wearing wigs in court like the British. Sometimes they still do it. Not to mention, they had a conflict amongst one another, especially with the three major tribes: the Igbo, the Hausa, and the Yoruba. So what I'm saying is that there's a lot of challenges that's been going on, and they have a British mentality because the British colonized them. And everybody knows the British are one of the most arrogant groups of Europeans in Europe. The British. So a lot of their mentality comes from colonization and a lack of knowledge of self. The same way our mentality comes from a lack of knowledge of self from what we've been through. They don't know. And I know it sounds foolish, but they don't know that they black and mumbled and gumbled with us until they come here. The average African that's been in America for 40 and 30 years know that it's not what he thought it was. And he know that he's no different than a black American.
Right. And then it's surprising that a lot of us black people in America have Nigerian descent in us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I showed you my DNA result earlier.
Yeah.
You'll see that I have 46% of Nigerian.
Right.
So that goes to show that that's where a lot of slaves come from, right?
Right. Correct. And it came in three waves. The first wave of slaves that they was kidnapping was the Igbo, and the Igbo was being cooking away by the Yoruba. Afterward, when the Hausa came in and beat the Yoruba started to be enslaved. And the reason why a lot of Africans gravitate to Ifa, because Ifa was one of the last African traditional systems that was brought to America that we were able to obtain and survive compared to our Voodoo system and our Congolese systems and different things that we had. Some of us even practice Islam coming from Senegal and Gambia. But a lot of us had our traditional Congo Voodoo systems as well coming from over here. But a lot of that was lost. So by the time these Africans came through Brazil, the Yoruba was one of the last phase. That's why Yoruba is so much intact in America, even though you only got like 7 major Orishas. So, and then after the Yoruba, a few Hausa were being kidnapped. And looking at your genetics, you have a large chunk of your DNA. That component is really high, at damn near half of your sub-Saharan African component. That shows you come from all 3 phases of Nigeria. A portion of you comes from the Igbo, another portion of you come from the Yoruba, and another portion of you come from your Hausa connection. And that's powerful.
That's really powerful. Wow. This is great. And Ngozi, I appreciate you coming on here. Oh, yeah. You know, bringing the knowledge like you do. You know, everybody, if you're watching, please make sure you check out Team Osiris. Check out the YouTube channel. You can check out the group. As I told you guys before, I am a part of Team Osiris. We deal with science, we deal with history, we deal with spirituality, economics, politics, all of that. So if you guys want to learn more, you guys can check out the group page, Team Osiris, and you can also check out the YouTube channel, and you'll find out more valuable information. There's anything else you want to say before I close out?
Man, listen, sister, peace and love to you. Thank you for allowing me to come on your show. And you need to do more of these because you are a powerful voice for the community, men and women. You are a very powerful sister. You're a shining light of Ra. And all I got to say to you, Queen, is Alhamdulillah, MashaAllah, and thank you very much for allowing me to have the opportunity from building on here, yo. That's all I got to say, yo.
All right, then you take it easy. All right, may peace and blessing be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. Until next time.
Salam. Peace, Queen.
All right, be easy. All right, y'all. That was a great show. Like I said, I enjoyed that. That's just a wonderful bill. And see, that's how we should be able to communicate with each other. We should be able to okay, I'm gonna put the link up for you, sis, and I'm gonna make sure that you get it in the inbox. But yeah, that's how we should communicate with each other. That's the way that you interact. You know what I mean? And so that was an intelligent dialogue, as I mentioned before. I'm glad that they were able to come on here and clarify some things and were able to teach me some things, because I was totally oblivious and not understanding what was going on. But now I get a better understanding. And until next time, you guys, please take it easy on yourselves and be safe out here. You know, we in the midst of chaos, so we don't know when this shit gonna end, but just be safe and be careful. All right. So with that being said, until next time, may peace and power elevation be to all of you. And you take it easy. All right. Thank you. All right, then.